Ambassador Zethkar's crystalline form shimmered, with barely contained disdain as he observed the human delegation. Across the gleaming conference table aboard the neutral station Harmony's edge, the Galactic Council had convened this emergency session after humanity's latest diplomatic incident. The complete annihilation of the Vorthak, raiding fleet that had been terrorizing the Outer Rim for cycles. Esteemed members of the Council, Zethkar's voice resonated through his translator with musical precision. We gather today to address the humans' continued violation of the peaceful coexistence accords. Their response to the Vorthak situation was disproportionate. Admiral Sarah Chen, the lead human representative, sat motionless. Her dark eyes held the kind of stillness that predators possess just before they struck. The other species around the table, the ethereal Luminari, the insectoid Veltar, the plant-like Solians, all nodded in agreement with the Zethkar ambassador's words. Disproportionate, Admiral Chen repeated slowly, her voice carrying an edge that made several delegates shift uncomfortably. Interesting choice of words. The Vorthak fleet consisted of 12 vessels, continued Veltar Representative Kliktar, his mandibles clicking nervously. Your response eliminated not just their ships, but traced their hyperspace signatures back to their base of operations. 47 installations gone completely. Admiral Chen stood, her movement causing a ripple of tension through the chamber. Tell me, Ambassador Zethkar, how many ships did your people lose to Vorthak raids last year? The crystalline being's form flickered. That is, not relevant to 43 vessels, 17,000 souls. Chen's voice cut through his protest like a blade. Veltar losses, 31 ships, 8,000 dead. Solian trade convoys, 67 destroyed, 22,000 murdered. She turned to face the entire assembly. Would you like me to continue? The luminary delegate, bright song of morning, pulsed with soft golden light. The losses were tragic, yes, but violence only breeds more violence. The proper response was to negotiate, to find common ground. Admiral Chen's laugh was sharp and humorless. You tried that. For 8 years. How did those negotiations work out for you? Silence filled the chamber like a suffocating blanket. You see, Chen continued, beginning to pace behind her chair. This is what you've never understood about humanity. You look at us and see primitives, a species that crawled out of a gravity well barely 3 centuries ago, armed with crude fusion drives and kinetic weapons. You see our warships and call us barbaric. You see our military traditions and label us savage. She stopped, placing her hands flat on the table, leaning forward with an intensity that made even the towering Veltar delegation recoil. But you're missing the point entirely. We're not defined by war because we're primitive. We're defined by war because it works. Zethkar's form blazed brighter. Preposterous. The Galactic Council has maintained peace for over 2 millennia through diplomacy and predators like the Vorthak, Chen interrupted, have been bleeding you dry that entire time. Do you know what humanity calls your peaceful coexistence? We call it managed decline. The human admiral gestured to a holographic display that materialized above the table. Star charts filled the air, showing the slow but steady contraction of Galactic Council territory over the past 500 years. Every year, you lose more systems to raiders, pirates, and rogue elements. Every year you hold conferences like this one, discussing proportionate responses and diplomatic solutions. Every year, more of your people die while you debate the ethics of actually stopping the killers. Bright song of morning's light dimmed to barely a whisper. But surely there must be another way. Violence cannot be the only answer. Chen's expression softened slightly, but her voice remained firm. You want to know the difference between humans and the rest of the galaxy? When someone threatens our people, our response isn't proportionate. It's final. When the Vorthak hit that colony ship with 300 families aboard, they didn't just commit an act of piracy. They made themselves an enemy of humanity. She activated another section of the display, showing the tactical breakdown of the human operation against the Vorthak. 48 hours. That's how long it took us to locate every Vorthak base, staging area, and supply depot within 100 light-years. 72 hours to coordinate a simultaneous strike across 47 systems. And exactly 96 hours after they murdered those families, the Vorthak ceased to exist as a functioning organization. The chamber erupted in protests from multiple delegates, their translators overlapping in a cacophony of moral outrage and legal objections. Chen waited for the noise to die down before continuing. You call it disproportionate. We call it effective. There will be no more Vorthak raids. There will be no more Vorthak terror attacks. There will be no more Vorthak because we eliminated the problem permanently. Zethkar's form pulsed with agitation. This is exactly what we fear. Humans solve everything through violence. Where does it end? Admiral Chen smiled, but there was no warmth in it. It ends when people stop giving us reasons to fight. The hegemony learned that lesson 50 years ago, when they tried to claim the Tau Ceti system. The Dominion learned it 30 years ago when they attempted to blockade our trade routes. The Collective learned it last decade when they thought they could use biological warfare against our colonies. She spread her hands wide, encompassing the entire assembly. You want peace? True peace? Then understand this. Humans aren't shaped by peace because peace is a luxury you earn through strength. We're defined by war because war is the currency with which you purchase civilization. Every peaceful moment you've enjoyed for the past century has been bought and paid for with human blood and human sacrifice. The Admiral straightened, her presence somehow filling the vast chamber despite her relatively small stature. The Vorthak are gone. Their networks are dismantled. Their allies have received a very clear message about what happens when you prey on the innocent. You can spend the next year debating the ethics of our methods, or you can spend it enjoying the safety we've provided. As Admiral Chen turned to leave, Bright Song of Morning called out desperately, "But what kind of galaxy are we building? What kind of future?" Chen paused at the door, looking back over her shoulder. A future where school children sleep safely at night because monsters fear the dark. A future where trade ships carry cargo instead of weapons. A future where diplomacy works because everyone knows what happens when it fails. Her final words echoed in the chamber long after she had gone. You're not shaped by peace because you've never truly had it. But now you do. You're welcome. The council chamber fell silent except for the soft hum of the station's life support systems. Outside the viewport, stars wheeled in their ancient patterns, and for the first time in memory, the shipping lanes between them were clear.